All right, everybody, welcome back. Yeah, we're going to be continuing the destruction of this hillside where we're going to be putting our house for Minecraft. And then I'm going to be reading through some more juicy r slash off my chest Reddit stories. So we're going to hop into the first one. This is from r slash off my chest. It is called "I am addicted to eating raw pasta." I thought we'd start out with a funny one today. So it goes, "Hello everyone. This is strange to post and make it kind of and it kind of eats me up inside. Pun not intended." I am a woman now in her early 20s in an apartment with four other roommates, with full control now over my eating habits. I have always been a sort of weird snacker. I love eating lemons, yes, just lemons. I slice them up typically in eighths and will eat them in a bowl. Sometimes on difficult days, I would consume 3 to 4 lemons. Holy crap, that's a lot of citrus. Very bad for your teeth, especially not diluted. Though, would not recommend. I also love making brownie batter with just a mixture and water. I like the ingredients. The point is, I am more of a sensory eater. So she likes to feel. Moving on with my most consistent snack, I have been fond of raw pasta since I was 10 years old. I snuck a spaghetti noodle out of the pantry and was hooked ever since. One noodle at a time turned to 5, then 10, then 30, and so on. My family could hear me crunching and got fed up. They hid the pasta. I would try to sneak it out at night so they wouldn't catch me. This escalated to me breaking into friends slash family's pantries as well as consuming the raw pasta. Fast forward some years, and I am now living on my own and buying groceries for myself. I realize I have real adult money and can get what I want. I buy a box of bow tie pasta, the best raw pasta. Oh, there's a rating system. The texture is perfect. The taste and the crunch of the middle part of the bow ties is so good. I keep. I started by keeping it in the pantry and grabbing handfuls occasionally. The handful amounts keep growing until I decide to keep the box in my room. Easy access. The crunching is bothering my cats and my fiance trying to sleep, but I can't stop munching. I get home from work every day and crack open the box of raw pasta. I would keep it in my pockets and have my fix before work. At my worst, I was consuming an entire box in less than 3 days for months. I was struggling with my appetite, eating it the second I woke up. My stomach was hurting all the time, and finally one morning I vomited the handfuls of pasta. I was disgusted with myself, but I realized the only way I could stop was weaning off. Got to cut down that pasta addiction. I cut down my intake until the box was gone, and my roommate had to hide it in a special spot to help me with my problem. I limited it heavily, but sometimes I still handful still. My mouth genuinely waters when I go down the pasta aisle at the grocery store, to where I have to avoid it. I feel so guilty and gross. Thanks for reading my sins. Wow. Um, lots, lots going on in that story. That's a mouthful. My side of it, wow, that's very interesting. Probably a really, really hard thing to go through, I'm sure, since you're kind of, been doing it for so long, since you were 10. I mean, I've had raw pasta before, as a kid, getting or undercooked pasta and it's kind of crunchy, and then, I can understand it, but eating like a box in 3 days, man, it's got to be terrible for like digestion. I mean, maybe. I don't really know. I'm not a gastroenterologist, but what I will say is that that is terrible. I mean, like, there's so much better foods than just raw pasta. I mean, maybe like finding something that gives the same sensory feel, but not the same as raw pasta. Maybe more nutritional value could be beneficial, but wow, best of luck to her. That is wild. Anyway, best of luck with the pasta addiction. It makes me think of those episodes of My Strange Addiction. I remember a girl like ate her mattress, and some dude was attracted to his car, and maybe this girl would fit in on there, and with her pasta addiction. Though I wouldn't really call it a sin. I would just say it's kind of peculiar. Anyway, let's move on to these comments. All right, so top comment is by CosmiCat7082. And they say, I also like snacking on raw pasta when I was younger. Same. Spaghetti weren't my favorite though, because they really hurt when they dig into gums. Best raw pasta is German Spatzel. I think I pronounced that wrong. Because they're not as hard as regular pasta. I think it's like Spatzle. I could be wrong as well. Could be just sound like a dummy. I also liked frozen fries and raw potato. I know they're slightly poisonous when raw, but I didn't care. Ooh, savage. I also loved to snack on raw, unbaked, crumbled mixture. butter, flour, sugar. Huh. And then the original person who made the post commented, "I forgot how much I love raw potatoes slash fries too. LOL." I never had raw potatoes or fries, but I mean something definitely odd that I did have as a kid is I've had like those Eggo waffles that are like fully cooked. I definitely eat one of those like fully cold because I didn't want to wait. That's definitely something I can relate on that aspect, but never like regularly, like maybe like once or twice. Um, the second comment is by Possible Sherbert 449. A habit at this point, and honestly, it might be worth talking to a professional about. I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, if it's really that bad or you have the potential where you just can't stop it or control it, even with like restrictions, I definitely would talk to a professional because who the heck wants to just eat raw pasta for the rest of their life? I mean, it definitely has a good crunch, but, you know, a good crisp piece of lettuce on a sandwich has a good same crunch too. Uh, anyway, let's move on to the third and final one. So they responded, "This escalated me to breaking into friends slash family pantries as well as consuming the raw pasta." uh, Pasta Thief could have been a hit video game from the 90s. I actually, since I was a teenager, also had a specific type of ramen noodles that had dried chili powder on it. Most ramen are plain and don't taste good raw. After years of searching, I found a local Chinese grocery store that carries a different brand that makes it the same way. They are 50 cents a pack of the basic ramen, and that is 25 cents a pack. Wait, they are a 50 cent pack 50 cents a pack instead of the basic ramen. That is 25 cents a pack. Oh, okay. So I eat them occasionally as a special treat. The ramen noodles get soft quickly, so you can digest it fine. Instead of the raw, hard pasta you have been eating, I hope I haven't exposed you to a new addiction. That actually is fire. I know like some people that will like take the raw pasta and like break it up inside the ramen noodle bag or the ramen noodle, however you want to call it. Um, and then take the seasoning and sprinkle it over there and shake it up and eat it like the chips. That's actually not bad. Super, super salty, but not bad. All right, we spent a lot of time on that, so let's move on to story number 2, number dose. All right, story number 2 is from materials underscore sync 4760. This is, "I loathe my partner's parents. I, 29F, moved across the ocean to live with my partner, 27M. We're currently living in a bedroom in a house his parents rent. The plan was that I'd always spend my 2-year visa here for the experience, and then in about 6 months, we'll move back to my country together and start building our future. We pay €200 each per month in rent. We buy our own food, we pay our own phone bills, insurance, my car, and basically fund our entire lives independently. We spend almost all of our time in our bedroom and only really come out to cook, shower, or use the bathroom. We even use a laundrette most of the time because they complained about the electricity cost of using the washing machine. Wow, that's really cheap. They're really cheap. The total rent and utilities for the house cost around $800 per month. That's not bad. Meaning we're paying half the cost of the entire property for one tiny bedroom and access to the kitchen and bathroom. Despite being nearly 30 years old, we're treated like children. If we go out, we're expected to explain where we're going, who we're seeing, and how long we'll be gone while you're in high school. If we make plans, we're expected to disclose them. If we don't tell them what we're having for dinner, they get annoyed. If his sister and their children visit for the weekend, we're expected to spend the entire day socializing or they get upset. Whenever we're out, his mother calls asking us to pick up random things from shops and never pays us back. Meanwhile, the 2 times we've asked her to grab us milk while she was already shopping, it became a whole ordeal and she wanted repayment immediately. Before I moved here, my partner spent 2 years out of work while helping care for his mother and dealing with his own mental health struggles. He was receiving unemployment benefits approximately €350 a month and was repeatedly told by his parents that he didn't qualify for carer's allowance. He was never told why. The reason was because his father was already claiming it. Oh. What drives me insane is it isn't even one specific thing. It's the constant control. Everything feels like a power struggle. For over a year, we were regularly told that if we didn't like how they spoke to us or the expectations they placed on us, we could leave. My personal favorite was Christmas. I wanted to call my own mother on Christmas Day. Apparently, that was a problem, because we were expected to spend the entire day visiting his grandparents, siblings, and extended family. His mother threw a tantrum over it. Then there's the money side of things. When my partner was 20, he received a small inheritance of around €1,200 from his late step-grandfather. His siblings used theirs for things like cars and house deposits. For 1,200 euros, what are you buying? Deposit on the house? Oh, it's 1,200 euros. The moment my partner's money hit his account, his parents asked to borrow it. They never paid him back. Wow. Every time he's asked about it since. The answer has always been some variation of, we don't have it or we can't afford it right now. Yet somehow, they managed 2 holidays to Greece every year and regular spa trips. My partner recently started working full time after struggling for months and to find employment. Due to the gap in his work history, after receiving his very first paycheck, his parents asked to borrow 400 euro. He said no. We're trying to save every penny because we're moving countries in 6 months. When I first moved here, I was paying for most of our living expenses while I still paying my obligations back home, including insurance and student loans. We chose not to rent our own place because he wasn't earning anything at the time and I simply couldn't afford it on my own. Recently, we worked out an arrangement where we'd pay slightly less or slightly reduced rent, and my partner would slowly recover some of the inheritance money his parents owe him. Today, his mother suddenly changed her mind. Now she says she'll hold on to it until we leave and will continue paying full rent. The problem here is she doesn't actually have the money, and I don't believe she intends on ever giving it back. Probably not. This came only days after we discovered the damp in a house had caused the entire back of our headboard to grow what can only be described as its own ecosystem. I'm guessing like a leak. We had to replace it, forcing my partner to lightly dip into savings that he has worked hard to build. At this point, I don't even know if I'm angry about the money, the attitudes, or how they treat us anymore. I think I'm exhausted. Wow. I would be too. That's terrible. My opinion would be run. I could not imagine living under that household. That sounds like extremely toxic, and I mean, taking inheritance away from him or borrowing, quote unquote, and never giving it back. That's absurd. It sounds like y'all could definitely have used that money to, branch out and gain, build your own life. That's terrible. I hope that your partner definitely branches out as soon as possible because that's you're paying half the expenses and confined to one room, and then you're also ostracized on what you want to do and have to over-explain yourself. That's ridiculous. I'm surprised you've held into it this long. I wish you the best, material_sync 4760. Hopefully this situation gets better for you and you can move on and get your own life started. But that's terrible. Let's go ahead and move on to the comments. There's actually only going to be 3 total, so we'll read all the comments this time. All right, the first comment is by Specialist Candy _77 or Specialist _Candy 77. Now, dear God! ! Make a celebration calendar to count off the days until you can leave. Exactly. I'd be looking forward to it like Christmas, and I'm a little kid. Be prepared / brace for his own mom. Well, you know what I mean. Like I was a little kid. I'm not a little kid. I'm an adult. Well, now that I'm justifying that, maybe you don't think I'm an adult. But be prepared / brace for his mom to have a tantrum / hysterical breakdown the day you leave in an attempt to prevent only him, from leaving. Based upon your perspective and perceptions as described, it sounds like you won't be surprised by this type of manipulation by her at all. Yeah, I mean, we didn't really find out much about the mom other than she was letting the son caretake for her and getting the salary to her husband, which is absurd in itself. But number 2, I couldn't imagine the kind of mental torment she's going to put you through trying to take her son away from her. I'm sure she's going to phrase it as. And then the original poster actually responded, said, "That's a great idea!" ! You're so right. I won't be surprised at all. We had a family meeting, quote unquote, a couple of months back and aired some things out. She had a meltdown, then too, saying that when we leave, she thinks I won't let him have a relationship with her. I told her point blank that his relationships with his family are his business, and I will and would never stop him from continuing on a relationship. In fact, I've encouraged him to continue on having the relationship. Unbeknownst to her, he's been saying as long as I've known him that once he leaves, he's never speaking to them again and not looking back. With or without me in his life, it would have happened that way. Oh, wow. But she's definitely going to get the backlash from this because regardless if he says that, the mom's gonna be like, oh, you're just defending your girlfriend or fiance or wife. Are they married? They're just partners, so I don't really know if they're married. But regardless, I mean, I know that's going to get turned back on her 100%. And finally it says, sounds like you need to leave. Also, don't expect to get the money back from them. Yeah, I think that goes without saying. All right, let's move on to the third one. Alrighty. So number 3 is posted by Redditor Maximum Introversion. Now, this is titled, I don't know how to be more, in quotations. So I kind of hate myself for venting about my dumb, self-inflicted problems when there are so many people with real fixable issues, so I apologize in advance. Shouldn't apologize for just wanting to express yourself. Sometimes that's what you need to do. Here's my TLDR. I'm a guy, inching close to 40 in a couple years, short years, mind you. I've never been able to develop socially. I have no friends. I've never dated or been romantically involved with anyone. I don't have much in the way of family anymore, and once the last of my family is gone, I'll basically be entirely alone in life. And the existential dread of this is eating me up 24/7. Want more context? Feel free to keep reading then. Now, I don't want to get into the word territory. Trust me when I say I'm not at all the victim mindset. I don't hate women or people for rejecting me. My values are the polar opposite of that typical right-wing unpleasantness. Okay. The reality is, I know that my issues are my fault. I assume many normal quotations people probably would make connections early in their life with classmates, coworkers, etc. And they maintain those connections as long as they can and meet others through those connections. I never really did that. I was always sort of odd man out in school, at jobs, etc. I never made those connections. Now, as an aging adult, I feel like I'm permanently locked out. Most other people I encounter already have lives they're content with, and I don't bring anything to the table that they're not already bringing from someone else. Okay? So, interesting. So their interest is never really there. If I try to go to a random place or do a random social activity, I'm just the odd one out again, because there's nothing so unique or interesting about me to give anyone a reason to open their social circles up to me, and that's totally fair. Romance is something of a painful subject because I always hoped I'd find my person, but to be honest, I really don't think they exist to begin with. And even if they did, the reality is, I don't even know the first thing about dating and romance. I don't know how to flirt or court anyone. I don't know how to ask someone on a date. I don't know any fun date activities or places to go. I don't know how to turn a first date into a second, and so on and so forth. At this point, it's probably incredibly stupid of me to pine after the idea of romance because I'm so far removed from the world. So at the end of the day, it seems to me I need to be a more valuable person than I am, and honestly don't know how to get there. I am who I am, and I try my hardest every day to put my best energy I can into the world and be the best person I can on any given day. But I know it's not enough, and I know it's never been enough, and yet I can't figure out how to be more. Man, maximum introversion, I'm sorry you're going through that. That's tough. Honestly, my response would be, it seems that you're not understanding you don't have any family or anything, but it seems like you're looking elsewhere to find some satisfaction on, someone telling you you're worth more than you may think you are yourself. But I think at the end of the day, you need to find that more in yourself. Like, I know that you're saying you don't have anything unique about you, but everyone has something unique about them. I know that you don't have much experience with the dating or finding friends, and nobody really does it until they do. At some point, nobody knew anything about dating or finding a girlfriend or a friend or anything like that. But at some point, they did make friends because they kept trying, and continually trying and giving it your best is I think going to be the best for you. Maybe go to some sort of local clubs where other people, have trouble making friends, or, I'm sure there's a lot of Facebook groups. I'm sure you've also been given the same advice again, and I'm just telling you things you've already heard. But at the end of the day, everyone deserves to have a friend. Everyone deserves to have love, and I know one thing that giving up isn't going to get you there. So I wish you the best, and I think that you're going to have some success especially if you don't give up. That's the only way to have success, is not giving up. So hopefully, I see you're posting a few more, an update of saying that you have a girlfriend and you found your best friend. I'll keep an eye out for it. Top comment is by Saturday Night Stupid. It's hard, man. Don't feel bad about venting about this stuff either. We're really in a loneliness epidemic, and the way society is set up, sometimes it feels like it's almost designed to keep people isolated. You may have to keep putting yourself out there. Closed mouths don't get fed and all that, but you are enough as you are. Kind of like what I said. I mean, I think it's kind of clear that you have to put yourself out there in order to get exposure and to meet people. That's kind of obvious. And the original poster replied with, I don't know about that, in quotations, or in parentheses, me being enough as I am, I mean, in parentheses. Surely if that were true, I wouldn't have to struggle socially for my entire life. I mean, yeah, I would say analogies like a lot of actors are maybe super unsuccessful their entire life, and then right there at the end, when they're older, they get their big break. They have some big break in their role. So, it's unfortunate to say, but your success might just be later in life. You can't just give up. There's only 2 comments. So second comment is, I'm the female version of you. The constant anxiety is so bad, I haven't slept through the night in years. Man, maybe y'all could be friends. Gloomy Fortune 225 and Maximum Introversion. Y'all definitely have something to relate on, and that seems to be a big part of your life. So, maybe you guys have found your best friend and don't even realize it. Maybe y'all are long lost lovers. Gloomy Fortune and Maximum Introversion. Gloomy Introversion. I mean, sounds like a pretty cute couple name to me. All right, so this 4th story is by Lackerlust, the Redditor, and it's titled, I got kicked out by my parents, and I'm essentially homeless. Please give me advice. This should be interesting. I've got kicked out today, and honestly, I just feel like shit. I feel like anybody would. I'm 19 years old, I'm in Los Angeles, I'm a full-time college student, I work 30 to 48 hours a week, and I have all A's. Impressive. I buy and cook my own food, pay for my own things, and have my own car. I've managed to save about $4,500. The only reason I'm really home is to sleep, shower, wash my clothes, relax in my room, and then leave again. My mom kicked me out because she, in quotations, can't stand to look at my face anymore, in quotation. Part of the argument was over me getting an eyebrow piercing. She now thinks I'm some low-life scumbag because of it. Whoa. What hurts is that I'm genuinely trying. In high school, I got accepted into top universities out of state, including Johns Hopkins University and Vanderbilt University. Vanderbilt's, I only know them because of football. My parents told me they would help me pay for my education. Then when the time came, they didn't. Instead of going out of state like I had planned and worked for, I was forced to attend community college because I couldn't afford those schools on my own. So I made the best out of it. I enrolled, got all A's, worked a shit ton of hours, saved money, $4,400 right now. So not $4,500, you liar. I'm joking. And I'm focused on transferring. I didn't give up. I'm working my ass off while I'm trying to build a future for myself. My dad knows this is wrong, but he just enables my mom's behavior. He spent years avoiding conflict and never standing up to her when she says or does hurtful things. Now I'm sitting here trying to figure out what I'm doing. I do have a gym membership so I can shower at least. I don't know what the next few weeks of my life are going to look like, and I'm scared. I know there are people who have it worse. I know I'll probably figure it out. I have a job, a car, and some savings. I feel really stupid asking some advice from strangers, but I know right now that's all I have. For those of you who have been kicked out of their home and kind of forced to be on your own, how did you do it? It doesn't help that it's been 95 degrees every day either. Just give me advice on what to do. Wow. That's a really shitty situation to be in. Let's hop into my view. Well, Lackerlust, the way I see it is I think now is the time for you to branch off and do your own thing. Clearly, your dad's not going to back you because he doesn't want to stand up to your mom. And, you're in the position where you just got kicked out by your mom, and you have some savings. I know it's extremely expensive, especially in Los Angeles. I don't know if you have friends or anyone you could stay with, but I'd probably recommend that. Or if you have any other family that you're close with. But, I don't know how much you want to, or how badly you want to keep or, fix that relationship with your parents. But it seems like there's definitely a lot of work that needs to be done there, and maybe you branching off is the best thing for you. It seems like you're working really hard in school and making sure you have an income. It seems like you're pretty self-sufficient now. I'm sure like you're not going to be able to save as much because of, the taking on the new responsibility for, covering all your expenses, including having a roof over your head. That's really, really, really terrible. I don't know that this is the best people to be surrounding yourself with. I know it's your family, but at the end of the day, if they're, just treating you like this, maybe they don't really care for you as much as you'd hope they did. Obviously, I don't know the entirety of the situation, but it seems like right now you branching off into your own thing is going to be the best thing for you. Wish you the best of luck. I'm hope that you find your grounding and soon and you're, like I said with the last one, you're back on here telling me about how you have a super successful future and that everything turned out okay. All right, let's move on to these comments. So first comment is not the mama 4208. Okay, well, we know what she's not. Immediate needs first. Don't dip into your savings unless it's a last resort. Are you done with classes for a while? Do you have friends you could stay with for a night or two? Couch surf for a bit. Alternatively, find the cheapest, safest room available and pay in advance for a week. Use all your free time to brainstorm. Any friends that need a roommate? Do you have a good credit score? There is so much to this that is really difficult to to dissect on a Reddit post. Virtual hug. Your mom sucks and I'm sorry, but you're going to be okay. I thought they said you're not going to be okay. I was like, damn. You have a job and a car and some savings. So homeless, maybe, but not completely down and out. You can sleep in your car to save money, which sucks, but it has been done. Yeah, with it being that hot though, it's kind of outrageous. There's a lot of replies to that comment, but the original poster said, I can't stay with my friends. They're all out of state in college living in dorms. A couple are here in LA, but they live with their parents, and that's a no. My credit score is 750. That's great. I've looked for some roommates, but maybe I'll hit up Facebook with no luck. Yeah, but with you being so young, 19, you're not going to have a ton of credit history, probably more than a few years at most. I do have summer classes. I enrolled in 4 summer classes, and they started this Monday. I just feel like I'm getting my ass kicked out there. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine taking summer classes and turning your assignments on time amongst all of this. That's a lot. You're clearly a strong individual. Second response, November rain _84. November rain. I don't think it's how it goes. I think it's a purple rain that I'm thinking of. First off, pulling a 4.0 GPA while working full time and saving 4.5K at 19 means you're an absolute rock star. Agreed. Got to give you a applaud where you can. And your parents are completely in the wrong here. Tomorrow morning, open an account at a completely new bank and move all your money there immediately so they can't drain it to control you. Do they have access to your bank? I don't know if I read that. Next, go straight to your campus basic needs center and find financial aid office. Tell them you're unaccompanied homeless youth to unlock emergency housing, food grants, and fast food dependency override. Ooh. Camp out in air-conditioned college library during the day to beat the LA heat and look up safe parking LA for a free guarded lot to sleep in your car safely at night. Huh. With your savings and steady income, you can easily sublet a room off of Facebook student housing group soon. You've got this. This is great advice. Wow. Sounds like you're, not like in a bad way, but it sounds like you might be speaking from experience. So you might be the perfect person to have come across this post. Much better advice than I told you. And then third and final comment is, my heart breaks for you, but you can get through this. You've already proven yourself to be so ambitious, my friend. I think you should contact your school, describe your situation, and see if there's any housing you can get into. I'm sure they will want to help. They have a lot of resources. There are also shelters you can reach out to. Can you ask a friend to crash at their place? Any other family nearby, or even family you could stay with where you could transfer to a school near them? That's great advice too. There is a lot of shelters. I don't know if you're male or female, but not that it necessarily matters, but there's like women and children's shelters that you can go to that, you have a lot less worry of something happening to you, from the other sex, to say the least. But that's a really shitty situation to be in. I hope everything works out for you. Hopefully your school would give you the most resources. I know that, especially that, like government assistance being, quote unquote homeless would be probably the most helpful for you right now. All right, so that was story number 4. Now we're going to move on to number 5. This one is a bit on the shorter side, but it just seemed like it was pretty juicy, so I wanted to include it. This is key_craft_4512. It's titled, I've outgrown my friendship of 18 years and I don't know how to deal with this person now. I'm a 30-year-old woman, married, and have 1-year-old son. My best friend, 29-year-old male, moved to NYC in 2022. Since then, we've had a long distance friendship, and only hung out when either of us visit our cities. We usually crash at each other's place. I was just in New York City to visit him, and also to go to the Underscores concert. Underscores, I don't know what that is. Since we landed, I realized why he and I have had so many clashes in the past. My friend has unmedicated ADHD, but aside from that, I felt so controlled the entire time I was there. He would decide where we'd eat, when we'd do XYZ, and what plans for the night were. When I didn't want to buy tickets for an event, he bought tickets for everyone, including my husband, and they went without me despite us heading to a karaoke bar together. Only staying for maybe 20 minutes, I really didn't want to spend my vacation at a club every night listening to techno. That's just not my idea of fun. It never really has been. Don't get me wrong. I love a throwback night or emo nights, but repetitive techno is just not fun at all for me. I couldn't deal with techno for too long of an extent either. While trying to convince me to join them, my friend was like, "Why are you coming here acting different? This is new mom energy, and I'm not with it." And that really irritated me, but in my mind, it summed up our disconnect. We've been friends so long that he knew me when I had nothing better to do than tag along to an event where I wouldn't like the music or the vibe, and he's still prioritizing vibes and music over the people he's hanging out with. Ooh, it's really rubbed me the wrong way. And by the way, he's the type of person to walk ahead of us the entire time and not ask about how our lives are going, or if he does, he'll hear one sentence and then interrupt to change the subject. If I play a 3-minute music video, the song is too long and should be under 2 minutes, but he plays a 13-minute Madonna medley video and we're supposed to be locked in the entire time. I don't think I'm the weird one for being 30 years old and prioritizing sleep or a calmer atmosphere. I don't think he understands a fraction of my day-to-day. His priorities include showing up to work on time and paying bills on time. My priorities are the same, except I have so many other things on my plate. He's basically called me a washed-up new mom, in quotations, as if that's a bad thing. I don't know. We talked about it the next day and hugged it out, but that won't really make a difference. We're both completely different people, and I just hate how many friends have come and gone from my life, and I haven't been able to find one who really meets me where I'm at. Man. Growing up, I was always told a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and that's all types of relationships, whether they're friendships, romantic relationships, business relationships, so on. Some people are there for a reason, some people are there just for a season of your life, and some people are there your whole life. Now, it sounds to me like they were here a long portion of your life, but it seems like y'all have kind of grown into two separate people. Whoever this friend is, it doesn't seem like y'all have the same priorities. They are, in a different era of their life or have different priorities. You clearly are married and have a family and a son to raise, and they are what seems to be single and always going out and prioritizing, making the memories, and whatever they want to do and whatever, anyone wants to do with their life is what they should do. But it's clear that y'all are definitely having a confliction, especially with the way that you live your lives and what you want to do. And so maybe y'all are just grown apart, as people say, just because they were in your life a long time doesn't mean you have to keep them in your life. That comes with family, friends, whoever. If they're affecting your happiness, I truly wouldn't want to be in their life anyway. If you don't enjoy being around them anymore, why would you want to stay? That just doesn't make any sense. Moving on to these comments. Not a lot of comments on these today, guys. Now, this commenter is called Jizz Tank. It's okay for friends to have ebbs and flow. Be honest about how you want to spend your time. No is a full sentence. If you don't like something or don't want to go somewhere, don't go. 100%. If you really feel you've outgrown this relationship, it's okay to have a conversation about how you need some distance or to end contact altogether. Sometimes old friends have trouble accepting a new version of you, mostly because they haven't grown and changed themselves yet. It's okay to recognize you need new friends, and you can meet them by showing up authentically in other facets of your life. Go to shows you what to see. Talk to folks, and over time, you'll start to see familiar faces and build new relationships rooted in the things that bring you joy. Yeah, obviously, hanging around things and being in the atmosphere that you like and enjoy, you're going to meet people that are like-minded in that aspect. And it sounds to me as if y'all are starting to see two different, as you're saying, calmer and atmosphere and prioritizing sleep. Getting to bed at a reasonable time. You're definitely in two different areas, especially if they want to listen to techno for 7 days in a row. I couldn't stand that. I'm not even 30. But that it definitely sounds like Jizz Tank knows what they're talking about, and that you don't have to stand and stay in this relationship, especially if you've developed and grown as a person and they're in the same sort of facet and mindset that they have been before. Now, the last one is Sad Bass 5503, and they replied with, friendships do change over time, and it sounds like he's being insensitive with the comments he's making. But why is your husband going along and leaving you behind? Yeah, that also is something I didn't touch on. Why would the husband go along without and leave you behind? And on top of that, why would someone clown you for being a new mom or giving new mom energy? Wouldn't you embracing, your new mom era, if you will, be the most beneficial to your life and your child's life, and making sure you're as involved as possible or being as responsible as possible? That's ridiculous. I wouldn't take that kind of disrespect, and I wouldn't let my wife either. Especially as someone's husband, I would have expected your husband to stand up for you if he didn't. That's kind of insane. If he heard it, that is. All right, y'all. So we got the last part. This is going to be called My Confession: The Weight of Hard Work, Sacrifice, and Being Unseen. This is posted by Apprehensive Art 2372. This one's going to be the longest one of the day so far, so lock in. I take a little drink there. I'm a very hardworking woman and have been that way for as long as I can remember. There are 4 people in my family: my father, my mother, my older brother, and me. My older brother is 9 years older than I am. Growing up was not easy. My father was an alcoholic and contributed almost nothing financially to our family. My mother carried the entire burden of raising us and keeping our family together. That's a lot. My brother and I were both good in academics, which allowed us to receive decent education despite our circumstances. When I was in grade 5, I started teaching tuition to a neighbor's child and earned 500 rupees a month. Even at that age, I felt responsible for my family. I would give every rupee I earned to my mother because I knew how hard she worked. How sweet. After years of studying and working hard, I passed my SEE. The very next day, I started working during my vacation. I later joined +2 Science and continued teaching tuition alongside my studies. I'm guessing teaching tuition. I don't really know what that means. Then COVID happened. After completing +2, I worked at a consultancy for a year, teaching English, counseling, and documentation and life skills. IELTS classes, I earned about NPR 35,000 or more per month. I'm guessing that's 35,000 rupees, or maybe it's different. After that, I enrolled into a BIT program with a total fee of NPR 360,000. Throughout my bachelor's degree, I worked relentlessly. My college classes ran from 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then I taught from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. and again from 6:10 to 7:40. After that, so I was teaching at school after going to classes. That makes sense. After that, I went to the gym and trained before finally returning home. Day after day, month after month, year after year. I recently completed my bachelor's degree and turned 23 years old. Even now, my routine is exhausting. I train combat sports in the morning, go to my office during the day, teach in the evening, do editing and side work whenever possible, and then prepare for the next day. I honestly cannot remember the last time I truly rested. The painful truth is that despite working since childhood, despite sacrificing weekends, vacations, and countless opportunities to enjoy my youth, I still have no savings. Not because I wasted money, but because I was careless. Not because I was careless, but because everything I earned went towards supporting my family, paying rent, buying groceries, and covering a household expenses and helping wherever I could. And the thing is, I never kept score. I never reminded my mother how much I contributed. I never told my family how much I sacrificed. I never said, I did this for you or I paid that. I simply did what needed to be done because I loved my family and believed it was my responsibility. My brother lives abroad and has worked hard for this success. For his success, I acknowledge that, and I am grateful for the opportunities and support he has provided. But what hurts is that every act of support seems to come with a reminder. Every conversation somehow returns to what he has done for us. What hurts even more is that he believes he has the right to control our lives because of it. Since childhood, he believed that beating me was a solution to the problems. If I made a mistake, he would hit me. Today, even as a grown woman, he still says things like, "You are becoming so dumb that I have to start beating you again." Those words cut deeply. Wow. I'm not a child anymore. I'm a 23-year-old woman who has worked every day for her life. I've balanced education, jobs, teaching, training, family responsibilities, and personal growth. I have fought through exhaustion, stress, pressure, and trained combat sports, not because life is easy, but because it has taught me discipline, resilience, and how to keep moving forward when everything hurts. Yet somehow, despite all of this, I feel unseen. My brother expects everyone to act according to his mood, his opinions, and his decisions. If we disagree, we are wrong. If we choose differently, we are foolish. Sometimes it feels as though my life belongs to him simply because he helped support the family. But my life is not owned by anyone. Yes, I am grateful. Yes, I appreciate everything he has done. But gratitude should not all mean giving up my voice, my independence, or dignity. Today, I am writing with this while crying because I am tired. So tired of constantly proving myself, of feeling like my sacrifices do not count, of carrying responsibilities without recognition, of being reminded of what others have done for me while my own efforts are overlooked. I have worked hard since I was a little girl. I have earned, studied, taught, trained, and sacrificed. I've given my time, my energy, my youth, and earnings to my family. I don't want praise or rewards. I just want my hard work to be acknowledged. I want to be respected as the woman I have become. And for once, I want someone to see how much I have carried all these years. Wow. I'm going to read the one response, then I'll go into my reaction. The one response is by Murrah Heels. Dear, it's time to stop helping your family. Your brother can do that. You are a gym, but you have taken advantage. You've been taken advantage of by your family because you kept on helping them. Too much monetary help can make others feel entitled. Also, you don't have to work all day long. Just do one job. There is real danger of a burnout. Sending you virtual hugs. All right. Now, my response to that is, wow, that is definitely a lot on your shoulders, and it seems like you've been holding yourself to an insane standard every single year since you were in grade 5. Helping out your family and doing what you have to do. That's one of the best things that someone can do, and one of the most respectable things someone can do. And if obviously you're not getting the recognition in your own life, so I'm here today to say, awesome, congratulations, you're doing an amazing job. And I think it's really crappy that your family feels this way and that they feel as if they're entitled to your pay and you working this hard without any recognition. And your brother saying that to you is just absolutely absurd. I can imagine how hard that, how deep that cut you, as you put it, especially, day in and day out, not only working for, 10:30 till, what do you say, you get home at like 8 p.m.? Yeah, 7:40 p.m. and then you go to the gym and then you go home. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, starting at 10:30 even then, but like when, getting your personal life done and doing things that give you actual enjoyment other than maybe the training portion, that's a lot for you to handle.